the growth relative to the valuation is pretty attractive. I think the thing that sort of moved the stock a little bit higher last night was, Facebook for the last few quarters has been going through this process of saying, look, we're a media company. We're recognizing that in our core areas, the ad load's getting really high. It's starting to kind of turn users off. It's the same thing that happened to radio, and the radio industry never really dealt with properly. Facebook is trying to make sure that they deal with it properly and keep engagement high across their different portfolio of use cases. And so they're moving usage away from the core news feed into things like video, into things like Messenger and stories. And as they do that, they're moving time into less monetizing areas. That's been going on for a couple of quarters, and I think that investors really understand that. The thing that helped the stock, ultimately sort of halfway through the earnings call was they came out and said that the profitability outlook is going to bottom next year in 2019, whereas coming out of Q2, they had said it might be 2020 or 2021. And so I think investors sort of look at this and say, okay, we can see, sort of the bottom of the estimates ramp for Facebook, and, it's set up a little better going forward.
Well, if I look back at the way the company's grown earnings per share in recent years, it's a huge deceleration. But the multiple's not that high anymore anyway. It seems like it already reflects that. What about the overhang from all the things that can go wrong? We never know what's going to happen next week. They got compromised here. This happened here. Is it worth more or less than 20 times earnings?
I think it's worth more. All the stuff that could go wrong has been reflected in them taking operating margins from 45%.
We have an election coming up. We got another one in 2020. You sure everything that's gone wrong has already gone wrong?
Well, I don't know if it's already gone wrong. All I'm saying is, to combat that stuff, they took 10 points off their operating margin from 45% to 35%, spending on engineers and security and safety. And what Mark Zuckerberg said last night was, we're never going to be perfect, but we're going to try to basically outrun the hackers. And some of these are state-sponsored hackers that they really have to invest a lot in order to beat.
Michael, the issue that I've been focused a little more on, I think, is just the idea that there are younger users who either have stopped using it, have removed the app, or don't use it nearly as frequently. And you just wonder, is there an age group where they just think it's not cool anymore, and there's something else that comes along? I know Instagram has been drawing a lot, and they own that too. But is there a concern at some point that you're not going to have the same addicted user base as younger kids come along and they don't do it?
Yeah, I do think that's a concern, and especially in the United States, where the revenue per user is many multiples of what it is in other countries in the world. One thing that Facebook is doing to sort of try to get around that is they've come out with their stories, which is really taking Snap in the crosshairs and trying to make sure they don't lose that younger.
But they're so big, they probably can't buy the next Facebook like they did with Instagram.
Yeah, they need to make sure that across different use cases of communicating and media consumption, that they're getting their fair share of that usage. And they've always sort of struggled a little bit with that younger demographic, and it's more of an adult kind of property, which in a way is good,
which makes it uncool too, though.
Makes it uncool, but also it's more lucrative, because adults, advertisers like adults.